Right, now, I know what you're thinking, but just don't do it. Do not do it. It's really not worth your time. Honestly, no, no, no. Put your hands down. Put them down. No, 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 don't. Oh, would you look at that? Stupid bitch. Halloween is one of my favourite films, and it is made by one of my favourite directors, John Carpenter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just have a little talk over one of the most iconic scenes from the film, which is the opening scene. The opening two scenes, actually. Halloween redefined how people made horror films with regards to low budgets, bringing in big success. It was made in 1978 for a paltry $320,000, and it only took 21 days to make. If we look at the credit sequence here, credit sequences often cost an absolute fortune to do, and they're often outsourced to people outside of the main production. This is a really simple credit sequence with the Halloween pumpkin and the camera slowly zooming in on it. I think it's really effective. Apparently there was an earlier credit sequence with a camera focusing on a Halloween mask, but they went with the pumpkin instead. John Carpenter wrote this film alongside his companion at the time, Deborah Hill. There you go, music by John Carpenter. It's always awesome. This piece is actually in 5/4, which is quite an unusual denomination of time in music. It's kind of, you don't know where it begins, where it ends. It's quite smart of him to do that. And so we've zoomed in on the pumpkin, and we're about to start the opening scene. Directed by Big JC. That's John Carpenter, by the way, not Jesus Christ. Many of the places that are in the film are references to areas in and around where Carpenter grew up. Here we go. This is one of the first uses of the Steadicam technology, which allowed them to do much of this opening scene in one shot. It's a very sort of eerie way to begin a film. When you look at it, you don't know whose point of view that you're sort of watching it from. The first giveaway that it's really a point of view shot is here, as the camera looks away in a moment. This is the first indicator of the whole sex equals death debate, which John Carpenter says that he didn't mean. There you go. That look away tells you that this is the point of view of somebody. If you actually look at the boyfriend there, or the guy, he's looking as if he's, really sort of into that girl, but we'll soon see that he's not afterwards, which kind of plays alongside the sex is bad sort of vibe. And interestingly, when the light switches off and they go into darkness, that's when the eerie music begins, and that also simulates the fact that they're going to have sex, and that's when the terror starts. I think this is Deborah Hill's hand in the shot, I believe. I think they tried to get it into focus, but if you actually watch that, the hand's out of focus. Yeah, so I think, let's say John Carpenter and Deborah Hill have often said that the whole idea of sex equals death and virginity will save you wasn't intentional. It was just the fact that people who were having sex were too busy to realise that there was a killer nearby. This is quite clever, just the character there pulling down his top emphasises that he's been up there naked. That little look there, you just heard the character say, "Oh yeah, well, I'll call you tomorrow," or whatever. obviously he has no intention of doing that. So that's a warning for you, ladies. There are some scumbags out there. I'm not one of them. I think. So here we have Michael Myers walking up the stairs. Now, I think there's only 2 points in the film where Michael Myers is actually referred to as such. And here we go. This is the first cut. So what you've seen so far, I believe, was one shot when he puts the mask on. That was a cut. And now we're seeing through that. We know now, definitely, we are seeing through the eyes of a killer. And a naked woman. This is Michael's sister. He looks around and he looks at the bed there. You'll notice he looks at the bed, looking at that's the scene of the crime as far as he's concerned. So this is really well done because you don't actually see any stabbing. It's much like Psycho. You see that the character looks away from the event, looks away at the actual stabbing that he's doing, and looks at his hand, looks at the knife. And I think that's representative of Michael Myers' thought process, which is that he's emotionally disconnected from his actions. So he only looks at what he's doing. He doesn't look at the moral or emotional outcome of what he's doing, which is basically the death of his sister. And here comes the big twist.
Michael?
His parents come out, and lo and behold, it's a little boy in a clown outfit who's just killed his sister. If I were the parents here, I'd be running around saying, you know, whose blood's on the knife? The camera pans up on this crane shot. And Smith's Grove, which I believe is a small town nearby where Carpenter grew up. Again, most of the names that he uses refer to places or areas, I think, nearby where he lived. So now we're introducing Dr. Loomis. Now, this is one of many connections to the film Psycho. Now, a lot of people talk about Halloween inventing the slasher genre, and a lot of people would say, no, Psycho did. And other people would say that no, the slasher film existed before Psycho. But anyway, Loomis is actually the name of a character from the film Psycho. Jamie Lee Curtis is the daughter of Janet Leigh, who was the woman in the famous shower scene, the protagonist of Psycho. And here we go, we're setting the scene that they're going up to a mental institution to transport Michael Myers. Originally, John Carpenter tried to cast Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, with Christopher Lee going on to say that it was one of the biggest mistakes he ever made in his career, turning down this role, because at the time Halloween went on to become, you know, I think the biggest grossing independent film of all time at that point. But he got Donald Pleasence, and I think they actually became good friends, John Carpenter and Donald Pleasence. And Donald Pleasence plays a priest who I think, I don't think it's a coincidence, but the priest in Prince of Darkness, another favourite of mine by John Carpenter, his second name is Loomis as well, making you think that either he's the same character or he's some sort of relation. Donald Pleasence only shot 5 days on this film. You feel like he's in the film a lot more, but he's actually he was only in the film for, I think it's 18 minutes. Now here we go. This always really creeped me out as a kid. Always really creeped me out. The mental patients running around. So anyway, this is us coming to the end now. I will have to switch this off before someone sues me. I may put up a full commentary of this film up on my website. And yeah, this is just a fantastic film. It did kind of cement a genre, and John Carpenter's definitely one of the best. And I'm sure I'll do more of these soon. Thanks for listening.